Team Washington, I want to share something with you, a thought that I had several weeks ago about time. It's 168 hours. Please watch this through completion, and there's some questions at the end that I want you to ask yourself. Now, this hourglass, it's 1 hour of time, and you get 168 of these every single week, no matter who you are. If you're the President of the United States, you get 168 of them. If you're a baby just being born, you get 168 of them. We all get the same amount of time. And the question is, how do you invest that time? And I want you to remember one word from this video, and that's the word intentional. And it's about being intentional about how you spend your time. You get 168 hours. I'm going to make some assumptions in here that you're sleeping 8 hours a day, which means you're better rested than the average person in the world, and that you're working 55 hours a week. And I know not all of you are. Some of us are. I don't think you should work more than 55 hours a week to be productive. If you have to work more than that to be productive, you may be in the wrong spot. But if you're sleeping 8 hours a day, that's 56 hours a week. And if you're working 55 hours a week, I'd argue that you're better rested than the average American, and that you are working harder creating success for yourself than the average American, giving you a leg up on most people in the world. So think about how you're spending time. Watch this on the screen, and I'm going to break it down for you on a 7-day week and on a 6-day work week. Nobody should be working 7 days. Everybody needs a day of rest. So check this out. Now the question is, how do you invest your 168 hours every week? We all get the same 168 hours to start our week off. And the question is, how wisely do we invest that time? We're going to look at this on a 7-day week with 8 hours of sleep every night, which means you're better rested than the average American, I believe, and 55 hours of work, which means you're outworking the average American, creating success for yourself. And I'll show you how you still have an incredible amount of time left over. On a 7-day week, there's 168 hours. 7 times 24 is 168. If you sleep 8 hours every night, that gives you 56 hours of sleep in a week. If you work 55 hours each week, you have a balance remaining after you sleep and after your work of 57 hours in a 7-day week left to do what you want. Now that comes to 8 hours and 9 minutes each day on average to do whatever you want. So you can be better rested than the average American. You can work harder than the average American, creating success for yourself, and still have 8 hours and 9 minutes each day to do whatever you want. Now the question is, how do you invest that time? Now since we don't work a 7-day week, let's look at this on a 6-day week. If you're working 6 days a week, everybody needs a day of rest. And you can do the math on this to a 5-day week if you want, and less or more work hours, less or more sleep hours. On a 6-day week, you have 144 hours in the 6 days. You have 48 hours of sleep. 6 times 8 is 48. And you have 55 hours that you would be working in that 6 days. That gives you a balance of 41 hours, which is an average of 6 hours and 50 minutes each day to do whatever you want. 6 hours and 50 minutes. And you have, on your day off, you sleep 8 hours, and you have 16 hours on your day off to do whatever you want. You could literally stare at the wall for 6 hours and 50 minutes a day, and then on your day off for 16 hours, and still be better rested and outwork the average American, creating success for yourself. Hit pause and grab a pen and paper and write these questions down. Am I proud of the way I executed the priorities in my life last week? This is a quick review to see how well you're doing. Be honest with yourself. Are you proud of the way you executed the things that you wanted to accomplish in your life? Number 2, what are the relationships you want to impact in a positive way this week? I think about the relationships in my life with my kids, or with my wife, or with the people that I get to work with, or any other family members that I have, and think about how I'm spending those 6 hours and 50 minutes when I'm not working and not sleeping, how am I going to impact that? During the work hours, how am I going to impact the relationship with the great people that I get to work with? Number 3, who are the people I'm going to intentionally contribute into their development this week, and how? Being very intentional about how I'm contributing into the lives of others. Number 4, what are the things I must do to be productive in my work this week? You have things that you have to do. Sometimes we don't like to do things. No matter what your job is, you don't always get to do things that you love. Even if you own the company, you don't get to do things 100% of the time that you absolutely love doing. So what are the things you must do? And just because you must do them doesn't mean you don't like them. But what are the things you must do to become productive in work this week? And then the next question I like to ask myself is, what are the things that I want to do extra that I will enjoy in my work this week? What are some of those things that will advance the business better for those in it and for myself that I'm going to really enjoy doing? Some of the systems that we develop, this video that I'm sharing with you is something that I want to do. I want to share this because I think it has a lot of power in it. But write those things down, what you want to do in the business. And number 6, very, very important, what am I going to do fun this week to make sure I'm enjoying my life? I think we tend to think of things fun as like big events in your life, but there are a lot of small things throughout the week that you can really enjoy your life with, and be intentional about that. The one word I want you to remember as I close this out is that word intentional. Like if I look at the 6 hours and 50 minutes on the days that I'm working, that I have free time, and I'm better rested, I'm out working most people in the world, and I still have 6 hours and 50 minutes on my days that I'm working to do whatever I want, and 16 hours on my day off to do whatever I want, that I'm not sleeping. If I take that time and intentionally invest it into the lives of other people and into my own life, I can have incredible joy. And that's the whole thing. Remember that word, intentional. Be intentional about everything you do when you're working and when you're not working, and you can create a lot of success for yourself. I hope you enjoyed the message in this video. Now the question I have for you is, what are you going to do with it? If you're going to take it and let that little voice in your head say, well, but I have to drive to work, so that chews away some of my time. And well, I have to go to the grocery store and I have to do laundry. Yes, you do. You have to do all that stuff. But I'm telling you that there's a lot of time left over at the end of every day. Even if you're working as much as 55 hours a week, you still have a lot of time left over. Many people, even many people in our company, aren't working near that much. But even if you're working that much, and nobody should have to work more than that to be productive at what they're doing, but even if you're working that much, you have a tremendous amount of time left over to create success for yourself and happiness for yourself. So if you're using the time wisely at work, and using that 6 hours and 50 minutes a day on the days that you work, and the 16 hours on the day that you have off, if you're using that time wisely to do the things that bring you joy, I think you'll be a lot happier in life. And I just wanted to share that message with you. It's been a huge impact on me. I had that thought a couple of weeks ago, and when I woke up in the morning, I was thinking about time, and it's just amazing the amount we have. The question is, how are you going to use it?